Until that bit. There we go. Right. So we're talking about indie film. So back in lockdown, I came up with an idea for a werewolf movie. And it's kind of following the story from the origin story of American Werewolf in London, the original wolf that attacks Jack and David. I always wondered what it would be like to have done American Werewolf in London too, but give more of a backstory to how that guy became a werewolf. What about his family? What happened to them and his wife, kids? Did they still live in the area? What happened? So I kind of built my story on the backstory. That's basically its unofficial sequel to American Werewolf in London, but it's done on an indie film budget of £950, which was spent on Wolfie here. So this is Wolfie, a practical effects werewolf. It's a puppet. It was created by the very talented Darren Grasby. Now, Darren's worked with Dominic Brunt on some of his indie films, like Before Dawn and The Attack of the... What is it? Oh, my God. Excuse me, I can't... I'm having a brain burp here. But yeah, so Darren Grasby did that, and he literally did the teeth. The eyes are done by Pete Tyndall, and he does a lot of practical effects for the Mission Impossible movies, and he worked on Star Wars. So I was very lucky to get that contact through Darren Grasby. And he built that. That was basically our budget. It was spent on the werewolf, and Darren did that as like a hobby project on weekends. As you can see, where's the tongue? Oh. So he looks a bit, he's still got some of the blood of his victims on his teeth, as you can see there. It's it's very scary, the eyes. I put it in my cinema room, propped up. It's one of my prized possessions. So that's Wolfie. See, I came up with the idea as like Jaws, less is more. I've got some of the blood on my hands now. Less is more, so you don't see much of the wolf at first. You just hear him. So it's more terrifying hearing it than just showing the whole wolf like some werewolf movies do that. They just show the whole thing straight away and for God's sake. It's like Steven Spielberg with Jaws. You don't see the shark because it was it had so many technical problems with the shark. That's why you didn't see the shark at the beginning of the film, pretty much. So they just used like the music that John Williams created. So we did that. Less is more. So you don't see the werewolf until, obviously, you see little flashes of him and stuff like that. And I find that more terrifying than actually just showing the whole thing. So it's telling a story, like a modern story, is the Moors of... it's a village. The village mentality is they don't like outsiders coming in changing things. And there's a property developer that's come into the village. He's, passed a few brown envelopes and got some property... Getting some properties built on, basically, some farmland people are right happy about. So it's my like hot fuzz, the greater good. If anybody comes in, if they don't pick up after the dogs, these fly tippers, they mysteriously get killed. And what it is, it's a werewolf with a social conscience, let's call it that. And yeah, it starts off the story and you see this dog walker leaving, and all the story kind of unfolds into one epic finale at the property developer's house where he's holding a party for the this deal that he's just passed. But he's a bit of a dodgy geezer anyway. But it starts the film, so it's like told backwards. So you see the aftermath. So there's like these two detectives on the Moors. There's some aerial shots that I did myself with a drone. There's another thing. I did everything myself because I'm a megalomaniac. And I was learning as we were going along. And there's these two detectives that find one of the fly tippers' bodies. And they come across this character called Bill. And Bill's a bit of a strange one. He's got no empathy or sympathy. He's sounds like a bit of a psychopath. The village... Well, there's always like a weirdo in the village, and Bill's character is that one. So it starts off talking to the two detectives, letting on that he knows more than they do. So they want to interview him down at the station. And then we do the flashback to 12 hours before, and you see the story unfold. It lasts about 31 minutes, does a film. And to be honest with you, we only filmed on weekends. I'm very lucky to have actors that are friends. I did all the editing, colour grading, the camera work myself. I used a Sony A7 Series 3 because the light, the setting on that, there's no film grain when you're filming on night, so it filmed in 4K. We did have a challenge with the weather though, because it was constantly either raining or it was windy. And like when you're trying to film and you get a slight bit of wind, on the dead cat mic, it's just like blowing and it just ruins the sound completely. And when we started shooting, it were a bit of a nightmare, to be honest with you, because it looked like things were going wrong. The weather, then somebody let me down, and I got halfway through the film, and I nearly threw in this house so many times because it would just seem like it's such hard work doing everything yourself. But it's a bucket list thing I've always wanted to do since I saw American Werewolf in London back when I was a kid. I just love to make a werewolf movie, and then I thought, back in 2020, why didn't they do an origin story? Why did they do American Werewolf in Paris that were a steaming pile of horse shit? And they could have done the backstory, the origin story, excuse me, of the original werewolf that attacked Jack and David. So that's what I wanted to do. I mean, everybody's got ideas and stuff, and they did a film before that called Abduction, which is a science fiction film. That's about 60 minutes long as well. But somebody said something interesting. I wish it was longer. So 31 minutes isn't long enough. And I'm like, well, why make it a feature-length film when you can fit what a feature-length film's got in 31 minutes? Because it's just non-stop. It's just a roller coaster ride. It's like you don't have enough time to take a breath. You're on edge of your seat throughout the whole film. But the thing is, though, it's on Amazon Prime Video, it's on Apple TV, and it's on Adam Austin's film channel on here, and it's 31 minutes. So if you want to give it a look and watch and tell me what you think. But it is on Amazon, and it's like next to like American Werewolf in London, and there's like Dog Soldiers and stuff like that. But what people are thinking is, because of their movies, because it's right next to it, it's a big Hollywood blockbuster, and it's not. It's literally, if it wasn't for what I paid out for the werewolf to be made by Darren, it would have cost zero. It would cost me nothing because I did everything myself, and obviously my friends' time on the weekend and stuff like that. So that's where we pretty much got. We ended up started filming in 2023. Then the seasons changed. So I had to wait for it to be. Well, we started filming in September, and then I had to wait until the following April, June. So the season looked about the same because obviously one minute it's frost on the ground and people are drawing breath and you can see it, and then one minute it's like it's middle of summer or something. So I had to wait for the seasons to change. Back to back, if I'd have filmed it back to back, it would have been. It would probably taken about 8 weeks, but because of the rain and the wind and setbacks and stuff like that, it took nearly 2 years. So yeah, I just wanted to get it done. I just want to get it finished, but I can't, and I had to wait for the seasons to change. We got to the beginning of 2024, and it just rained for like 3 months solid, and it was like, for God's sake. Any indie filmmaker knows when you're relying on weather, it can just completely destroy you mentally. You're like, just want to get it finished. But what happened is we got to it was June, and 2 weekends back to back, we filmed the fly tipping scene. And the week after, we did the finale scene in my back garden. A lot of it's filmed in Baildon, which is the surrounding area, the moors, and it was filmed on Ilkley Moor with the fly tipping scene. So the interior shots of the house where you see the dog walker leaving, that's here. And obviously the finale. The property developer, this is his house as well. So yeah, it was a challenge, but I enjoyed doing it. Sometimes I didn't enjoy doing it, and I felt like throwing in the towel because things were becoming very difficult. The weather, two people drop out. We're halfway through, just about to film. I was like, I can't do it. All right, okay. And things happen, personal problems, so we had to recast a couple of parts. And probably it turned out for the better. I think everything happens for a reason. And Steve Newsham came on board, and he absolutely smashed it out of the park. Steve Newsham plays Bill's character. I don't think he's done anything like this before. He's not really from an acting background, but he's just a natural. He's just brilliant. He just stole the whole show. And there's Danny Cunningham in there. You've got Jez Marshall. You've got Adam Probitz. You've got Sebastian Story. I'm going to forget someone. Keith Dickinson. Andrea Kovac. Oh my God, there's so many people involved, like as well as the guests for the party and stuff like that. So it was really good. And a friend of mine, Ryan McDonald, I've known him for years. We had an idea for a werewolf film back in 1999, and we never made it. But I said, well, if I'm ever going to make a werewolf film, you're going to be in it, Ryan, because we started a project and we never finished it, and it just wasn't working out, and we didn't have the right effects and stuff like that. So yeah, if you my advice to people that are wanting to make an indie film is just go for it. You got a script, you got an idea, because I get so many people approaching me. I don't know if anybody else gets this. and they want you to write it. So I've got the idea for a film, but I want you to make it. And it's not, I don't know what they think you've got like a magic wand and you can just make it all happen. It's a lot of work. Now, if you have an idea and you can put pen to paper and write it, and you write some, start with some bullet points, the story, beginning, middle, and end, and then start building the characters, and then go from there and start writing it. Because once you've got that screenplay done, there's a lot more work to do. You know what I mean? It's not just there's a screenplay, you can make it, because that's what some people think. You just magically make a movie, and it's not. It's a lot of work. All the little details of the sound, and I put some Easter eggs into the film with the Moors. There's one from Aliens with the xenomorph, when it's attacking, spoiler alert, when it's attacking Keith Dickinson's character, it's like there's a kind of a face, they have a face off and it's kind of face to face, and it's like the xenomorph when it kills Burke in the film Aliens. There's snippets from the Terminator, Stephen King movies as well, so you'll probably notice them. It's pretty cool, actually. So, yeah, give it a watch. So it's on Amazon Prime, Adam Arsenal's film channel, and it's on Apple TV. I think it's on a couple more channels as well, but if you look it up on IMDb, and there you go. But not getting asked any questions, but I hope you enjoy the film. Let me know what you think. But just remember, it's not a Hollywood blockbuster budget, and obviously we didn't have any, multi-millions of pounds for marketing. That's another thing when you're an indie filmmaker, is getting eyes on it. Getting eyes on your film is so important, and it's so hard to do. So you've got to get it on Twitter. All your social media just works. TikTok's a big media source to get your work out there, and obviously YouTube. But it was released September, and we released it. Well, we had the movie premiere in September, 1st of September 2024. We had the Cubby Broccoli Cinema in the Photography Museum for one afternoon on Sunday, and it was sold out. The whole cinema was just packed out. I couldn't believe it, and I was just so nerve-wracking getting the sound right and everything for like 5-1 with the cinema surround sound. You had to do a DCP and everything and convert all the video, and I learned a lot making the film. But to sit there, I did a speech at the beginning. My nerves were shot. I don't think I slept the night before. And the night before, 2 days before, I broke my big toe, so I was hobbling around at this cinema, at this premiere. And I was stood at the front. I did a speech, and it was just like unreal to sit there, watch your film on the big screen, and be surrounded by over 100 people. And at the end of it, I went down to the front to say, that obviously we're going back to a bar, you're welcome to join us. And before I even got a word out of my mouth, as soon as I walked down to the front, just everyone stood up and got a standing ovation for like 5 minutes. And I'm like, what? And it was just, it was worth all the hard work. It was just an absolute buzz. And we went back to the Bull's Head in the village in Baildon after, and everybody beat me there because we had the slowest taxi driver in the world. And we got in the door, and it was like that scene from Only Fools and Horses. Do you know when they become millionaires and they've got the nag's head, and everyone just stands up right quietly and starts clapping? The exact same thing happened. I entered the pub and just everybody was just applauding again. It was like, yeah. So it was worth it just for that reaction. So if you've got any ideas, you want to make a film, just do it, man. I mean, people say, I don't know how to use video camera. I need a cameraman. I need this, I need that. I taught myself through YouTube tutorials. I've got this Sony A7 Series 3 because this guy recommended it on YouTube. If you're going to do filming at night, it's probably the best camera to use. And I just learned how to use it. I got the settings off YouTube. I figured out how to do all the sound design, stuff like that. I had Adamo Di Giorgio did the sound composer soundtrack for my film, and he did an absolute fantastic job. He's worked on Fear Street on Netflix movies, and he's also worked on the Jordan Peele Twilight Zone series. He did the composing for that. And I think Land of the Bad with Russell Crowe, that's on Amazon Prime. He did this soundtrack for that. You check him out on IMDb. Adamo Di Giorgio, absolutely brilliant. He used to live in LA, but he's 2 years now. He's lived in the UK. He's come back to the UK. So yeah, so it was epic. And then I managed to, bucket list thing I always wanted to do, own my own movie on Blu-ray, and it's all extras on there. You can actually buy that on eBay. So yeah, it's quite nice to have your work on Blu-ray. So that's that. Oh yeah, and the end of the film, there's an after credit scene that you need to see. It's hilarious. You'll be howling. Forgive the pun. But the end song that's called Fear the Growl is available on Amazon Music and Apple Music as well. And it was my son wrote the song, and him and the band that he's in, Into the Mystic, produced the song in a recording studio. And it's pretty cool, to be honest with you. So it was a good job all round, to be honest. It was a lot of work. So like I say, I'm rambling on now. If you ever want to make a movie, go for it. Just don't expect everybody else to do the work for you. Best thing to do, because I've written screenplays before. I wrote a feature of Abduction, the science fiction film that I did. And I thought, right, I've got a screenplay. And in your head, you think you're going to try and sell it to studios. But studios don't want to take a risk on new talent because you're high risk. You're not a name. So literally, it's like when I first started out in graphic design, I couldn't get a job in graphic design because I wanted somebody with experience. But I'm supposed to get the experience if you don't, you know what I mean? It's just pain in the ass if you just couldn't win. And it was the same with that. I tried to sell a screenplay, and my mate said, well, why don't you just make a short film of one of the stories from the script? I'm like, that's a good idea. So I made the film Abduction, and that was 60 minutes long. I won multiple awards in LA and London for the movie, for Best Science Fiction, Best Director, Best Visual Effects, because I did all the visual effects and everything, again, myself. So I'm the cameraman, the cinematographer, the lighting guy, coordinated everything. It was just, I don't even know when I think back how the hell I do it. I just go into like some kind of bloody survival mode, I guess. Like a lot of people probably do when they make films. You just turn into this different person, and then when you finished it and you look back, you're like, I think about it now, you think, how the hell did I do all that? Do you know what I mean? I don't know if anybody has ever done a massive project in their life, like they built a house or anything like that, and you look back and you're like, I don't even know how the hell I did it. It's like you're possessed almost. But yeah, as I say, if you ever want to do it yourself, YouTube tutorials, you can. I'm self-taught with everything. I didn't know how to use a camera. I didn't know how to do lighting. I didn't know how to do color grading. I didn't know how to use Final Cut Pro at one time in my life. But if you're creative, you've already got the tools there. You just need to believe in yourself. And the best thing I ever learned is learning the art of not giving a fuck what other people say. Yeah, you can. If somebody says you can't, you can do anything when you put your mind to it. Absolutely. I mean, look at that behind. That was just a thought in my head, and look at it now. It's a movie. Do you know what I mean? And I've got that for the rest of my life. So when I've passed on and gone, part of me is still here. Do you know what I mean? It's not like you got a 9-to-5 job and then you go away, you just get replaced and you're just a number. Do you know what I mean? It's having something to be remembered by. So yeah, I have an idea for a paranormal film called Sarah, which is about an abusive relationship, a toxic relationship, but it's the other way around, where the man's being abused by the woman. And I'm not going to give any spoilers, but it's a supernatural film as well. But it ticks a few boxes, let's put it that way. Brings attention to, the abusers are always the men. Sometimes it's women. But so let's shed some light on that subject. So that's what Sarah's all about. So that's what I'm going to do next. So this is actually my first, live video. There's obviously people can watch after. But yeah, there you go. 18 minutes I've been waffling on. 18 minutes. Wow. My tea's going to be cold now. Right, so I think we'll end up there. If anybody's got, any questions, you can say in the comments anything you'd like to say. And we'll go from there. Oh, what's this? Sorry, guys, I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm messing around. First time I've been on here, on YouTube Live. But yeah, so if you want to give the film a watch, or Abduction's on Amazon Prime Video, also on Adam Mawson's film channel on YouTube on here. And I've got a short supernatural one. I did Golf 13. About a month after I did Abduction. I filmed that in one night. Abduction, a film that I finished from start to finish. Started in January 2019, and I finished by March. So that was pretty fast turnaround. But it was all visual effects, which I learned again, self-taught to do. And it's kind of a love letter to Spielberg, Close Encounters. Do you know when Derry gets taken from his mum? It's like I've almost kind of recreated that scene in a way, with the abduction of this Harvey Harrison. So yeah, check it out. You'll see what I mean. But yeah, that was my own son that's in that place. Danny Cunningham is in that. And Jez Marshall again. And my dog. My dog's famous. Well, my dogs get savaged in the malls. So Logan plays Logan. He's our golden retriever. He's very good. It was quite funny when Darren Grasby originally brought this wolf to our house to drop it off before we did some test filming in the back garden. The dog just pissed himself in the house. It was quite funny. But Darren brought this and it was brilliant. So, there's another thing. It's funny, like, all the shots of the werewolf in the film aren't actually there in the same scene as the person's being attacked. It's literally, I filmed all the lunges in my cinema room with a blackout blind and some lighting rigs, like, in certain directions. And then I was just doing lunges at the camera. All the lunges of the werewolf, everything is not there at the time. Apart from the one with the finale with Keith's character, Peter Hudson. Yeah, that was it. Well, he had to be there because they're all in the foreground and the wolf kind of rises up in the garden. Won't spoil it for you. But we didn't go for a hellhound with it. We went for a wolf man. So it's like 7 foot tall to give that impression. And Darren actually built some werewolf legs as well. So we've got them in some of the shots. When he picks up the dog walker, it didn't pick up after his dog. And it just literally lifts this dog walker up. And he's like, I had this idea, run it past Jez, and he says, no, don't do that, you cheapen the film. And the fact is, when he's picked him up, and he kind of looks down, and the werewolf looks down, and there are like going to be piss coming, like a trail of wee coming down his leg off the boy's heart. He says it's a bit tacky, let's not do that. So we didn't do that scene. But it was funny because when we first started the film, The Moors, we were originally just supposed to show the detectives at the beginning, tech billing for questioning. And then it shows the night before the dog walker gets killed, then it goes to the interrogation room scene, which you'll see at the end. And that was it. While we were filming, I just had the idea of the fly tippers. Let's bring some fly tippers in. Let's, film that. The finale at the house, that wasn't supposed to be in it either. So it just grew and grew. I just had ideas all the time. I was just buzzing with ideas. So yeah, I added more work for myself, but it was definitely worth it. So there you go. Anyway, I'm going to end this stream. I hope you enjoy the video and enjoy the films. See you later.